So it's time to go to work.
Nobody.
I'm opening the mics up. Let's go.
It took long enough. I'm telling him, crack the mics, crack the mics.
Hey.
He don't know how to act since he had been away.
I gotta make sure we all back. Yeah, no, we're not back yet. I ain't stopped the music.
Share. Check in. Let us know where you're from. What borough? What development? If you're a NYCHA resident, let's go. Welcome back.
Wow. First of all, it is good to be back. It's good to be alive, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So for a little bit of time, I was, if you haven't heard it on the other shows, I'm saying it on this show, because I know we have a different audience, that I had a little problem with the COVID situation. I was COVID positive around the first week of January, and that kind of took me out, it was man down, and I had to deal with it, and I dealt with it, and I actually made a video of my experience, actually, of what was happening to me and what I was taking and all of that stuff, just to kind of take you all through the process a little bit. But, I'm back. I'm healthy. I'm done. Do I have any after effects of COVID? Yeah, they say you're going to deal with that for a couple of months. But other than that, or forever, depending on what you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm thinking and I'm hoping and praying that my situation is simply temporary. Yes. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I'm in good hands. Sandra, where you been? What's been going on? I haven't seen you in about a month.
I know.
What's up?
Yeah, well, it's good to have you back in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Last time we did the show, you dipped out on us,
Yeah, it was time to go.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy, right? I'm going to tell you something wild.
Okay, and then I'll go jump into my week.
And then jump into your week, right? With that, there was spots when I thought I was feeling okay.
Right.
And then I'd be like, you know what? I'm not feeling okay. I'm going back home. Because I went to a dinner, right? We had the artist Baba T, and we had a dinner at the restaurant upstairs. And I spoke to Gary. Gary was like, yo, you need to go. Baba T's from Australia. They're doing the dinner really, because of you, and, you're instrumental. And I was like, Gary, I don't feel good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I went out anyway. Okay. I went out, and I had the dinner, and the dinner was over, and I remember I started feeling bad immediately. And I just got up from the table. I was like, yo, I got to go. And I left. And when I went home, when I checked my O2 saturation, I was below 90.
Tell people O2.
All right, my oxygen levels.
Come on, everybody don't know.
I'm sorry, yes. So your normal oxygen levels should be your normal oxygen levels in your bloodstream should be somewhere between 94 to 100, right? Mine was like 84, which meant I couldn't breathe, and I was getting dizzy, and I was getting confused. So I got up from the table and left, and I had to, use my oxygen tank at home. Wow. So I had these little spurts where I would feel like kind of okay, but you would do something and you just wasn't there. So that's kind of what that is.
Thanks for sharing your experience, and hopefully they don't do anything to us through these platforms. So we didn't say anything wrong.
Right, I'm just telling you the truth.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't say get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. I didn't say none of that. I just said this is what happened to me.
Yeah, you gave your experience, and that was good. Thank you. Give yourself some.
Yeah, come on.
Glad you back, brother. Glad you back.
So once again, hello everyone. Sandra Coleman, co-founders of the Homicide Coalition. Got one of our other co-founders is here today as a guest as well, virtually. So these past few weeks we've been away. We missed you all, our viewership, and my week, of course. I'll go into this last week. I was busy. As always, the Homicide Coalition hosted a Valentine's Day dance and fun event on Monday, which was Valentine's Day. We had a DJ and a pizza and stuff like that, nice gift bags, and Congresswoman Carla Maloney came through and she turned it up.
All right.
She was in there dancing and stuff like that. So she's so full of life. God bless her, literally. Mm-hmm. Give her some. And my weekly norm is basically checking on residents, making sure they're okay, if they need PPE, or anything like that. I do cook for some residents. I do laundry for some residents. I do some things. It's just, it's just it's about community, right?
Right.
So also assisting them putting in tickets, for their repairs, and or heat and hot water, which has been a problem in both developments, homes. I live in Isaac houses, but I used to live in Holmes Towers, and we have issues with heat and hot water, and it's really pathetic. And I actually entered a residence home, an elderly residence home. It literally felt like I was outside.
Wow.
Outside. I felt like I was outside. The hallway felt warmer because they don't have heat in their apartment.
That,
so the hallway
crazy.
Was warmer than their apartment. Yep. And that, that the lack of heat and I think some of the windows need to be insulated.
Yep.
So that's problematic. And then when it comes to the hot water, we either have scalding hot water or we have no hot water. That's a problem, right? Because it's a privilege to take a shower. Literally, that's what it's coming down to now. It's a privilege if you can get into the shower, whatever time. And it seems like at Holmes and Isaacs, it's like they have us on a prison schedule. Literally.
Wow.
I mean, that's all I can say is like you get up. You can't get up at your leisure and shower and bathe.
Wow.
You have to try to catch it. You ever heard such things like that? So that's why I'm coining it literally.
I have in a third world country.
Right, exactly. Well, and that's what I've called us. Remember when we did that presser? So I'm gonna jump into Saturday. The Homes Isaac Coalition. We hosted our first annual Black History celebration. It was amazing, a wonderful event. Give us some rock. Ooh. He giving us
I had to give you some beat too. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I like that. We had our first Black district attorney, Alvin Bragg. He came through.
Great.
Said a few words.
Hold on, wasn't he on the show?
Yes, he was.
And he said hi to One Night Show when I did a little tour of like less than a minute on the page. Nice. And he said, hey, One Night Show. So he came through, said a few words. He was actually on the program. He wasn't on the flyer. But he was on the program, so I knew he was coming, and I told a few people. I didn't tell everybody.
Got to get him back on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely, I'm in touch with his people, so we're going to get that done. He's going through a lot of stuff, too,
exactly.
So keep him in prayer.
Yeah.
We also had 2 independent gospel recording artists, Johnny Stowers, which you all met.
Yes.
Y'all know
Johnny!
And Reverend Michelle Sweeten DeCaro, who opened us up in prayer. ESP knows her well.
Johnny has become a favorite at Maria Davis Mad Wednesdays.
Yeah.
That's great.
They love her there.
Yeah.
They love her
great.
there.
He loves to come out and perform. That's Johnny.
And
he's not looking for nothing, so his blessings is going to come. So I did manage him briefly to my health.
Okay.
When I got hurt and stuff, but I did manage him for a little while. So that was a little fun. For nothing. Because I wanted to see him win. I wanted to see him win. Yeah.
Professional. All that.
Let me see where I'm at now, because y'all just keep jumping in.
Because we got to mention when it's hot. When it's hot, we got to talk about it. It's hot.
Hot topics.
Yeah, I know. I want to make sure I mention our youth. In the community, they participated and did a wonderful job. So give the babies some and our youth. And we had a young lady dancing. Just talking. They did a little skit. Amazing. So, hey, Peggy Morales. Okay. She's saying something to me via text though. And then today marks day 502 with US for BLM.
Still doing that?
Yeah. We plan to wind down and do something else, so stay tuned. A new initiative, something different. But yeah, and I'm down 14 pounds.
Hey, all right. That's good. That's great.
Down 14 pounds. Those that know me on social media know Trina's coming back. She never left. Okay.
She lost 14 pounds. 14 pounds.
Come on, Rock. Give me some. Come on.
14 pounds. 14 pounds.
Okay.
She's down.
There we go. Okay. Yes, that's what we do.
Yeah,
okay, let me move on. Almost finished.
But I'm sorry.
That was good. You know how we do. Bio writing I do on Thursdays at the Isaac Centers. Coming along well. It's a hybrid class. Please DM me if you're interested in coming on virtually. It's an hour, 10 o'clock on Saturdays. I post a flyer every now and then on social media. And I want to extend my condolences to the Cabrello family. One of your co-hosts, she lost her mother a few weeks back. So, and that's that. So,
yeah, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, big family.
Yeah, losing a mom is tough.
Yeah.
You know, what people don't realize is your mother's the first person you ever met.
Yeah.
So when you lose that anchor, you got to recenter yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the trick to that.
Yeah. And their family's 5 generations.
Wow.
So her mother is still living.
Wow.
God bless.
Who did she move?
They're 5 generations. So
Who
the
passed?
mother,
I'm sorry.
his co-host, Juanita. We had on the show the Coach by Cabela.
Right.
Remember?
Juanita passed?
No, her mother.
Oh, mother passed.
Yes.
Okay,
Miss Anita,
all right.
Miss Anita, yeah.
All right, yeah. I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. When you lose your mom, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. So I didn't get to say it last time because it was fresh, but I wanted to just still, extend the love because they do check out the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. On you, Stan.
All right, been a busy week. We continue with our lawsuit, Queensberrys North, and what I really don't like, again, for those who don't know, we're suing for lack of repairs in Queensberrys North and South. We have attorneys from Queens Legal Services who are taking the case, and our first session with the judge was great. He was definitely jumping down Knight's throat, and I felt we were going to get some results. But then they changed the judge. So now this other judge has a little bit of a different tone. It's like a basketball game. How can you have a game where you coaching in one half and you got one coach, and then the other half another coach comes on? Now you got to play a whole new style, a whole new thing, and I don't understand why that continues to happen in all these various lawsuits, because it ends up messing up your case.
We have a new judge now too.
It's just ridiculous.
This must be the season for them.
Yeah, they
time
switch.
haven't changed.
Which is that's why they do it.
But it is they do that though. They do that.
But I think that should be changed. If a judge is working the case, work the case and finish the case. Don't switch in the middle,
right?
Because we lose momentum that way. So
then you start from the beginning,
right.
The judge
because they got to get up to speed.
Yeah, he might know a little bit about the case, but he don't really know.
Exactly.
The new one we had didn't. Okay.
So so that was that, and we also want to mention out that I'm dealing now with some residents in Ocean Bay. This is why this is so important. Is because Ocean Bay has been privatized and converted to RAD.
Yeah.
And so I'm speaking with these residents now. So we got the receipts now, because their apartments are horrible.
Is Wavecrest? Who has
Wavecrest. Wavecrest took over management. This is supposed to be, this is the first, I believe, first conversion. It's supposed to be the showpiece when they took people out there
on buses.
and took them on buses. And this is how great it's going to look. And so a year or so later, all the molds coming back, the leaks coming back, all these problems. So 3 of the residents reached out, and I was able to submit a letter of complaint. Now, a letter of complaint is from Just Fix. I'm on the board of Just Fix. Big shout out to Just Fix.
All right, give them some.
So this letter outlines exactly what's wrong in the apartment. So we submitted those letters over there in Ocean Bay, and they came the next day and got the work done for those 3 residents. Now, why is it that happens in Ocean Bay but doesn't happen in NYCHA? The reason why is those fines on the Just Fix form is applicable. So if you don't get the work done, you're going to be fined this amount of money on this date and that date and that date. So they hopped up and they jumped. You send that form to NYCHA, they ignore it because they know HPD is not going to enforce those fines. So therefore, that's the difference. So I continue to say that something has to change in that. That's a criminal covenant between HPD and NYCHA, and NYCHA is not a city agency, it's an authority. So why are they protected by HPD? Why? If HPD stepped in and did what they had to do, these apartments and these issues can be done and cleared up much quicker than what they are. So I saw it happen in Ocean Bay. Why is it different in Ravenswood and Queensberrys and all the other developments? It should be the same everywhere. So I'm definitely upset about that. And then on a personal note, which I'm not going to get into too much, but I will mention it.
Yeah.
My son was in the hospital this past week in Mount Sinai Hospital in Manhattan, 1010th Street in Manhattan, dealing with a sickle cell crisis. And when you're going through that kind of pain, it's tough for a patient, so you're going to be a little agitated here and there. He's definitely was having his moments, and I saw it. But, I don't understand how it ended up with NYPD and security people, 6 or 7 of them, rushing into his room in the middle of a crisis. Where
it's a doctor's job.
It's a doctor's job. So
he's a patient.
I don't understand. So not going into too much detail, but I'm going to get to the bottom of it,
of course,
because I really don't know. And now he has to go to another hospital. Now we had to take him out of this hospital,
of course,
and put him in another hospital. And while all this is happening, for other reasons I'm not going to get into at the moment, I wasn't even able to go upstairs and assist in the whole situation. So I'm sitting down hearing my son call me and say, I'm going through all of this, and I couldn't help him. And then to come find out that he got bum rushed in his hospital room. So, as black people, we always deal with something. It just it never ends. I never heard of somebody getting beat up in the hospital while they're sick. So I'll be following up and giving some updates, on that as things progress.
And when you're ready to hold that press conference in front of the hospital, let's suit up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's that needs to be addressed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Full force, really, right? I mean, when you think about the magnitude of what happened to Malcolm, and I don't know everything, I'm just hearing what you said to me right now, right? And you think about what Whoopi Goldberg said, there's no comparison, right? Whoopi Goldberg made a statement about what she thought about the Holocaust. But here it is, your son is in the hospital and has been beaten up and he has sickle cell. And then there's no action towards that.
Right.
Right? That sort of speaks volumes, really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to really address that because he didn't do anything wrong. He wasn't a criminal. He's sick in a hospital, and then he's
having a crisis.
He's having a crisis, and then you guys don't understand he's having a crisis, and then you physically do something to him. That is, I mean, that's worth a press conference and everything.
And there's one thing, security coming in, but NYPD, that's overkill.
NYPD,
that's overkill because that could have went anywhere. You know, the hospital police are not really strapped hardly. So, but when NYPD comes in, it could be deadly.
Now you got a gun on the premises. Now I could be seeing my son dead. Yeah.
And trying to arrest a sick person. Like, why?
Right.
You know, and where was the doctors? Where was the nurses? Like, because they actually are responsible for him.
Right.
Correct.
Not the security, not the police. They were in the care.
They supersede that.
Right.
He wasn't, like you said, he wasn't a criminal. Even when if someone was a criminal and they bring him in,
they supersede that.
Right, but they still got to fight with them to save their lives.
Right.
They be like, oh wait, no, because you ever heard the AZ story? They sent the doctors out. They wanted to take him to surgery. When he got shot, and the detectives or DA, whoever was in there, had to talk to him. Right. And then he said they covered him up like he was gone, but he wasn't. Right. He was fading out. And then he was able to save his life. Right. But the police, there should be something, city council should work on that.
Right.
Because it's about saving a life first, and you can ask the questions later.
Right.
If you don't save the life, then you're the judge, jury, and the executioner.
Right.
Right.
That's a whole nother thing if we talk about Martin Luther King, but we ain't gonna go there.
And in your situation, I don't want to hop on it, but I'm just saying that needs to be really dealt with.
Yeah, keep us posted
at the ultimate level.
Yeah. And I just say last thing about it: if he was white, I can't see that happening. There's no way
it wouldn't happen at all.
No.
So yeah,
listen, he could have did that and been like, I'm
Johnny's
depressed.
just having a bad day.
Right. He's depressed.
We'll just let's close the door.
And
if we hear anything, we'll rush in. But
right.
It's Johnny.
So continue.
But it was Malcolm.
Right.
Malcolm.
Right.
Very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Money Mike.
I'm over here thinking about Huey P. Newton. I saw the movie. They did that to him when he went in the hospital after getting shot. They went in there. They beat him up.
They let Martin die.
Right. But I don't know. Like I always say, my week went by smooth.
Smooth.
Yeah, my week,
smooth, baby.
My week, what I did, taught CPR to build some studios in East New York. But I want to know how Karak talk to all these shows, and I don't even know if he say the same thing with each show. You know how some people, I seen comedians go to different shows and they say the same exact thing. He have different,
but he has to be different because every show's different. Yep.
And I don't even. I mean, if I say one or two,
but then there's also the host he's with too, and the people.
I mean, he was Smooth Mike.
He bounces. He bounces off of things too. Yeah. He's a viber.
Yeah, if I'm vibing, I'm a vibe.
Yeah,
that's the true hype man. That's the true hype man.
Nah, I'm a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Right. Big shout out to Violators Radio. They had me on last Saturday.
Yep, I saw that.
All right.
That was great.
All right, well, we can jump into our guest.
Yes, indeed.
So,
all right. So we have a special guest in the house tonight.
No stranger.
No stranger to this show. I met her about 3 years ago now. I feel like it's been about 3 years. When I first started podcasting at Breakbread Studios in Brooklyn when Stan first came.
Yep.
And Keesha was physically in the studio at the time, and I had a chance to interview her. Keesha, what's up? Long time no see, girl.
finally got you. There you go.
Who's over
Hi
there?
guys, how you doing? How's
Good.
everyone doing?
Doing well.
We doing well.
It's
We
good.
doing well. And yourself?
Surviving, trying to survive living over here in NYCHA.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you can see, I got boxes behind me.
Mm-hmm. Those props. Talk to us about those boxes.
Yeah,
Jump right in.
Yeah, I thought they were pictures on the wall.
Tell
I
us
thought
about
decoration.
what you going through.
Atmosphere. I'm trying to look good with Home Depot. I'm trying to get a sponsorship through Home Depot. That's what it's about.
Let's do it.
What's going on?
Besides the fact that my son is running around with a runny nose because he's so cold and I'm so frustrated, can't put a ticket in because my ticket from yesterday is still open, and I'm frustrated with that. I am dealing with asbestos right now. So what happened was over a year ago, I had tiles laid down. And they did a horrible job. And by horrible, I mean the tiles were going every which way. And for a person who has vertigo, you look down at your tiles and you get beyond dizzy. So I have 3 different directions in my kitchen. So, you know, in NYCHA, some kitchens have 2 entrances.
Yeah.
So from my first entrance, they're going one way. Then at my stove, they're going another way. Then at my dining room, they're going another way. So that's just utterly ridiculous. In my hallway, I have a very long hallway because I have 3 bedrooms. They are separated. Some of them reach one wall, some of them reach another wall. In the middle, they don't even reach each other. And I started to complain because I'm like, when we walk down the hall, my children don't always wear shoes. I mean, I don't allow shoes in my house. So they don't always put on their slippers. They don't always wear their socks. My youngest, he hates socks. He loves to run around barefoot. And if you do that, when they don't meet each other, it hurts your feet.
Yeah.
That was one problem. So I started to complain right away. Once they were done, I immediately let the super know. These whatever tile layers did a horrible job. I said they don't even deserve to get their full pay because they left tiles in my house. They left glue on the floor. And the fact that these tiles were going in different directions
Crazy.
told you that they did a horrible job. That was right when they were finished. So of course, during the pandemic, the tiles started breaking.
Wow.
I started complaining about that. And as they started to break, here's a picture, boom. Here's another picture, boom. Wow. Here's another picture, boom. Here's another picture, boom, boom. So after that, underneath, I already had, this was my 3rd set of tiles. Finally, after emailing the super, emailing his supervisor, emailing the supervisor's supervisor, and then all the electives included, I finally got some results. They came to see what was going on. Oh, well, because of the new mandate, your floors need to be tested. Guess what? They were tested, and of course, I have asbestos. I found this out the week before Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a Christmas to me. So, what also upset me was that my super,
just a quick question. How many stories is your building?
25.
Yeah, all 25 of them have asbestos. It's no shocker.
Yeah.
The whole building has it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but it doesn't bother
Not
you
just
unless
NYCHA, though.
yeah.
it doesn't bother you unless it's disturbed.
Right.
But of course, it's disturbed. I'm 3 tiles in, so you can't lay another. He was like, oh, we can just lay another set of tiles. You're not going to let it lay another set of tiles.
Yeah, they can't do that.
I've already. This will be the 4th set of tiles, and they're not allowed to lay 4 sets of tiles. And I didn't want another set of tiles because there's nothing wrong with the set of tiles in either one of my son's rooms. And I didn't want another set of tiles in my room because I don't have the 3rd set. So now we want to be 2 sets in my room that I don't have. And now it's a tripping hazard to me.
Right.
So I was like, no, you're not doing that. You have to pull them all up. And so then that's why they had to test for asbestos. And again, like in my kitchen, every single time they lay these damn tiles, they pop up. And that's why I keep having to get new tiles. And I said to them, you need to figure this out. Why are these tiles continuously popping up at the same spot in my kitchen? I had my light removed and put in my own light in my kitchen, right? And guess what? There was an exposed wire there, and it literally burnt the ceiling. And I said to them, don't you think you should check what's going on underneath? And the guy said, oh no, your floor is too far and nothing would happen. But I find it very strange. No matter what, tile after tile after tile after tile, it continues to break right there.
Wow.
So back to why I have all these boxes. So now
I just want to say something, Keisha, real quick,
Yes.
about your tile situation, because I just want to get clear. So
Yes.
they had the original tile, and then they put a tile on top of that tile, and then the tile
Yes.
on top of that tile. Never getting to the base of the floor.
Never.
Yeah, which is actually illegal, because they're not supposed to do that, right? Because I do it in the schools, right? And we wanted to put a floor down on top of a tile. And the fireman said to me, he said, you can't do that because there's asbestos under the first tile. They said we have to do an abatement. You got to pull a tile up,
And that's expensive.
do an abatement,
Right.
and then you can put down a new floor.
Right.
So what's been happening to you has been illegal since the first time they put the first set of tile down, because they weren't supposed to do that. They were supposed to do an abatement. They were supposed to do an abatement.
Absolutely.
And I'm just telling you what the fireman told me. He wouldn't let me do it.
Right.
They were supposed to do an abatement when they were going to fix the tile the first time.
Right.
Pull the tile up and do an abatement. That's
But
what they were
one
supposed to
thing
do.
with NYCHA, they've been replacing people towels for years and not doing the testing, and that's been mandated now. That's why they're testing, because she's had replacements.
Right.
So now
right.
with the mandates, because the federal monitors team was looking at my bathroom, and we were talking about that as well. Before I knew her whole situation,
Right.
and I was like, he said, no, if it tests positive, the person has to move out, and they have to do the whole floor, the whole apartment,
Right.
which is crazy. But go ahead, Lakeisha, it's crazy.
But NYCHA I don't think, unless it's a serious case, they've never pulled up anyone's whole. That's not their.
This
first
is the new
go-to.
thing. This is new.
Yeah.
This is new.
This
The
is-
federal monitor team told me it's new.
Yeah. So in December, that's when they told me I had to do it. And it's been a disaster finding out the whole process.
Yes, walk us through it.
Everything has been asked backwards throughout the whole entire process. I was offered an apartment first. And in order to get an apartment, you have to get the same, you have to be offered the same size apartment in which that you have. So I was told it was December, and I was told the apartment would not be ready. I was first offered an apartment way downtown, and I said no, because again, my children go to school right across the street, and I'm not going to, I was offered an apartment in Gompers, and I'm like, I'm not going to travel all the way from downtown every single day to bring my children to school. I was like, that's out of my way. And I was like, that's insane. I'm not going to do that. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, this is serious. This is dangerous to you. Excuse me. Serious and dangerous.
It's been serious.
It's been there for a while. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I've already been living with this for over a year.
Yep.
When I've been complaining with this throughout the damn pandemic. So why is it serious and dangerous now? It's serious and dangerous now because now is the time that you've decided that you can come and test for it. So no, you better find something different. So then my manager was like, oh, well, we have an apartment here, but it's not going to be ready until February. And then I started asking questions. I said, okay, well, what about, Wi-Fi? Well, what about, things like that? And she's like, well, we don't pay for that. We're not going to pay for if the house is not ready. If it's not wired for cable, we're not going to pay for that. I said, well, what about my stove? Because I have my own stove and I have my own refrigerator. I have my own washing machine. And then she told me, well, we're not going to pay for someone to come out and disconnect your stove. Maybe you should pay for that and then you'll get reimbursed. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I already paid for someone to do that already. I was like, this is not something that I did. Well, then she told me, well, I'll inquire about that. And of course, she never got back to me. And so we got closer and closer to, when we were talking about me moving out, and I kept waiting for her to get back to me because I said, well, after the holiday, I'll call her, because now you already ruined my Christmas, because now I'm stressed out about living with asbestos, because again, there was no real information to me about other than as long as it's not disturbed, you'll be fine. But it's also like, well, you need to move quickly because you're living with asbestos. So, you're giving me two mixed stories. So then it was like, okay, you can go to a hotel because you need the Wi-Fi for your children. I'm like, okay, but okay, now, well, what about laundry? Because I have my own washing machine. How long am I going to be in this hotel? I don't want to be there longer than you're telling me it's going to take 5 days. I don't want to be there longer than 5 days because my kids go to school. There's COVID. They wear their clothes to school. Whatever they wear to school, I need to wash it. So now you're telling me this is an added expense. And the money in which that you're giving me is not going to get me a healthy meal every day. And you're not giving me anything for laundry. So now you're giving me an added expense. I don't care that you're putting me in a hotel that is right across the street from my house, but you're adding an extra expense. Nothing. So again, I'm like, well, what's the process? Nothing. So now she's like, I am now pushed over into the relocation unit of NYCHA, and I'm asking them these questions. So they told me, oh, well, you were supposed to have a walkthrough from your management. My management never told me that. Oh, they told me, oh, well, the painters were, so your house is supposed to be painted. Wait, what? My management didn't tell me that. Oh, well, you can have, there was supposed to be an apartment. But I spoke to my management about the apartment and they didn't say anything about that. So through talking through the relocation unit, I'm getting all these other information that my management should have told me. So now I call my management and my management was like, oh yeah, you should have your house. Your house does need to be painted. I'm like, but you didn't tell me. And I said, well, we were supposed to have a walkthrough. Oh yeah, well, are you going to be home on this day? I'm like, why is everything being asked backwards? And everything is just adding more and more stress. So I'm packing my stuff because again, I don't want anyone else to pack my things. So all of a sudden, the painter calls me and he tells me that I need to pack my things and put my things in the middle of my floor. Wait, what? I'm moving out. Right. Why would I pack my things and move it to the middle of the floor?
The confusion. What are you talking about?
So then I call the manager. I call the moving people. I'm like, why? I mean, not the moving, the relocation unit. And I'm like, why are they telling me to pack my things and move it to the middle of the floor? Then they call the management. Why are they telling her this? And I'm like, this is like, who's on first, who's on third?
Right.
And then the manager calls me. She's like, oh, he had the wrong information. No apology. Nothing. And then I was like, well, what about this walkthrough? Oh, well, can you be home? But again, you didn't tell me any of this. Why am I going through them to find out stuff that you should have told me? And again, no apology.
She ain't know.
No apology.
It's craziness, man.
She ain't know.
So then I'm sitting in my house, packing up my stuff, and I hear keys at my door. And I'm like, those keys don't sound like they're at my neighbor's house.
They're coming in your apartment.
Yo, I hear the doorknob turn.
They think you're not home.
Wow.
They think you already, somebody think you already moved out from NYCHA probably. Yeah.
Who is it? Nothing. But I still hear the keys. And then all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. This man tried to come in my house and it was the damn painter. Yeah. He was stumbling all over his words. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know where to look. He didn't know what to do. That man was scared. And I was like, what the hell? And I called the office. I was like, why was this man with keys at my damn door? Oh, he didn't have keys. He just had his regular keys. You have to give us the keys on the day that you... I said, no, this man had keys. I said, I don't care what you said. I don't care what you're saying. This man had keys, and I was sitting.
Crazy.
And I said, what would happen if I wasn't sitting in my living room? What if I was in my bedroom? What if I wasn't even home? This man
Or what if you were in the nude, walking through your house?
Right.
You know, what if you had a hearing problem and you couldn't hear?
My son was like,
you know what I mean?
Here's a hammer. Mommy, here's a hammer. Mommy, here's a hammer. Mommy, here's a hammer. Mommy got lots of hammers. Okay.
Too much information.
Yo, I was like, what are you doing? And then he was looking at his paper with his flash. What are you doing?
That's the incompetence of nature. He thought you were gone.
Wow.
He thought the apartment was empty.
Wow.
And I said, everybody knows I'm leaving on the 22nd. Everybody knows this. Why are you at my door? Why are you at my door?
He didn't get the email or memo.
I was like, yo.
Horrible.
I'm so disgusted. This whole ordeal from beginning to end has been nothing but frustration.
Horrible.
And then I see another person in my building. So they're telling me 5 days. I see another person in my building that is having the same asbestos abatement. And they have it posted. The abatement already started on Thursday. And they say it's not going to end until March 2nd. That's longer than 5 days.
Is it floor? Is it? Do you know if it's tiles or so? Like it's just like yours? Is it tiles?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't. It doesn't state what it is. It doesn't state what it is. But that apartment is smaller than mine.
Okay. Wow.
Unless they're doing the floor and the ceiling, which I do not believe. Like that's a lot.
Because in the other building, the other homes building, they're doing a ceiling.
Wow.
The ceiling. And there's
So
asbestos abatement. They took the signs down. I was actually on the 3rd floor the other day, so the signs are down, so it's done. So yeah.
So it's from now until March 2nd. That's extremely long.
That's a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. One of the reasons we brought Lakeisha on today was to share this story with our viewership, especially our NYCHA viewership, because this is the new thing that's going on. If it tests positive, which it will, right? So there's no ifs, ands, and buts. Because it's utilized throughout, the apartments. This can happen to you. Cracked tiles and stuff like that. Because the federal monitor team, the investigators told me, a cracked tile, if it's a cracked tile and it's reported, and they have to test, and they're going to have to do the abatement, and the abatements are expensive also.
Well, I know we're going through a situation with a resident in Queensbridge, and they still haven't found a place yet, and that's part of our lawsuit.
Right.
And it's just incredible, And so, can you talk about how this disrupts your life and the life of your children, and what you expect to happen over the next few days, when you're in this hotel?
My son, like when I first explained, because again, you don't want to say too much, because like I said, it started right before Christmas, so I didn't say anything to them. Because again, I didn't know. And that's the thing, like they're young, they're 7 and 10. So you don't say until you are, 100% sure. And so in the beginning, I was like, am I going to go to the apartment? Am I going to go to the hotel? I didn't know. So I didn't say anything to them. So we were trying, I just first started to like clean up the toys, figure out what we could take, what we couldn't take. And I just told them like, we're cleaning up. And then I said, when I decided like the apartment wasn't ready, I just told them we're going to go to a hotel. And I explained to my sons, like, we're going to go to a hotel like we went to when we went to New Jersey on vacation. So my youngest was telling everybody we're going to New Jersey. And I'm like, we're not going to New Jersey. We're just going to go to a hotel like when we went on vacation. And so, they still were like, why are all of our things going? Are you throwing them away? Because again, we did, we threw some stuff away because again, I was like purging because again, I have to pack my whole house.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, nothing can be in the closets. You can't leave anything behind. Because again, I was like, that was a big thing for me. Like, I'm like, I have to pack everything.
Dishes and all. A full move out.
I'm
Crazy.
like, you understand you have to take apart all my furniture? I've been in this house. Like I was born and raised here. My parents moved away like over what 12, 15 years. So my furniture, I've had my furniture before I had my kids. So my furniture is old. Some of my furniture my parents gave to me. Some of like I was showing my kids, like, this hammer granddaddy gave to me. My father gave it to me. My father had it forever. So some stuff I'm like, I don't want to take it apart because once you start unschooling stuff, it's not as good when you put it back together. So I'm like, oh my God. Like, I just had to live with the stress. I lived with the stress throughout all of Christmas, my damn self.
Wow.
So what kind of Christmas did I have? I lived with that. So that was so stressful for me. And I just had surgery the month before that. So like I have so much pain, and I was
physical and mental pain now. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, and going back and forth and dealing with the incompetence and just the fact that they can't communicate with each other. And then to add children to that. So then when I finally decided that, okay, we're going to go to a hotel, that's when I told my kids, okay, we're going to go to the hotel. And then it was like, when are we going to go? When are we going to go? When are we going to go? Because like a kid, it's like, a trip. They want to know when we're going on this trip. So then it's like a countdown to the trip. And again, it's still like, now I'm packing. They don't have room to play. My kids are used to playing in the living room because, again, I'm respectful of my neighbors. I don't always let my kids play in their rooms because they have people next to them. They have people, below them. And again, a living room is for living. So go play in the living room. You understand? But they can't because now it's the packing room. You understand? So where's their space? Where are their things?
Yeah. Let me address the chat real quick. Maria, are they doing the work while she is living there? No, Maria. I believe you already got your answer to that. She explained that. Cassinda's watching. Greetings, everyone that's watching. Mayshawn Bain says, tired of no action. Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to read everything. What else? Maria says, my development, most apartments have asbestos tiles. Yeah, all. Yeah, all. If you ever watched the show we had with mayoral candidate Dr. Roger Flores, he tells us about that and talks about that it's not banned. A lot of people assume that asbestos is banned, but it's not. It's still in use. Yeah.
Madness. Total madness.
Someone said hi.
Tyree's watching. Kim
Hey.
Tyree's watching too.
Hey, Kim.
Hey, Kim.
Mm-hmm. I think this was for you, Stan. Maria, that's like Coney Island Hospital. The way they say it's the last stop on a train. Well, CIH is the last stop.
Okay.
Yeah. Send in prayers, Maria, to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for the prayers for my son.
Kim said, oh my God. I don't know if that was for you or her, but that's for both of y'all.
Right. It's
Yeah,
all tragedy.
it's rough. Yeah,
As black
it's rough.
folks, we go do so much, boy.
Yeah.
I tell you, it never ends.
This is a whole nother nightmare for residents.
Yeah.
We had the lead, right? The test for lead.
Right.
Test that, and then your kids got to get tested. The department has it. They're not testing adults. I don't know why they're not testing adults, because there's
Right.
symptoms with adults, as I said over and over, and you all should Google the symptoms, because if you're going through these headaches and all these things, you might have lead poisoning. It's some symptoms that are really, like, you go just Google it, and maybe I'll do it before the show and run some of them off to you. But if the child is test positive with lead,
Right.
why would the parent not?
Right.
I understand what they're looking for, because how with the kids and how it's life lasting. But what about the adult? They're suffering with things, right, Rob? You got
Absolutely. The reason why they go with the children
Yeah.
is because it inhibits or
right.
their developmental,
Development,
Right.
and that's why they do that.
Yeah. But you should be testing the whole family.
Everybody should get it
Yeah.
because an adult is going to suffer from some form of something
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And, this asbestos problem is a time bomb that's just ready to go off because all the apartments in NYCHA have asbestos. Right?
And private buildings too, yeah.
I mean, in private buildings, but I just want to address the NYCHA situation. So, no matter who you are, you got asbestos. And that needs to be addressed because it's going to come up. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop sleeping on it. Like, it's not going to happen to you. You're going to be displaced for asbestos at one point or another.
Once it's discovered, yeah.
You just, listen, you got to say something. It ain't discovered. It's there.
No, I'm saying once they identify it.
once
That's
they
what I'm saying.
identify
That's
it.
discovered, right? Once they find out.
But I'm saying it's there already because that's how they built the building.
Right.
Right? That was the fire retardant or whatever it was they used to build the building. So it's in everybody's apartments unless it's been removed, which it hasn't been. So this is a time bomb that I think needs to be addressed now. Because it's going to affect everybody eventually at one point or another. This isn't something you should be living with. No. This should be a mass, operation.
Right.
To remove
they
asbestos.
don't have no money now, right? They don't want to fund us,
but
right?
Here's the truth, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember, now I'm going to take it to the World Trade. When the World Trade had asbestos, the two buildings when they were there, they had a mass asbestos removal program.
Right.
That went into World Trade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 because there was 6 buildings. And they did that. And they did that in the 80s because I was working there. And they had all the testing and everything.
We've had abatements in the building in the common areas before. You've seen it, and because we know it's there, but they have done that. I guess when it was discovered, because maybe something, a cracked tile or something like that. We have seen it. They also, where Lakeisha's at in homes, they actually covered the floors in the hallways, black tiles. They put tiles on top.
Right.
What you think they doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Covering up.
Exactly.
Right?
Which,
so they don't have to,
Yeah, so they don't have to do the abatement.
Exactly. It's cheaper to
cover up. But now here you have chip tiles.
Right.
Now you're in your apartment.
Yeah.
And now you're being displaced.
Right.
For something that everybody knows is actually there.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what I'm driving at it on. You know what I'm saying?
But they have to do the test. This is what they say.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to test to make sure, but it's there. It's going to come back positive.
Listen, they got to do the abatement.
100 grand.
And I get that. They got to do the abatement. But all of that should be included in some kind of plan to go, okay, the way they did it in the schools. They removed asbestos in the schools. That was a big initiative in the 90s. Removing asbestos because there was no doubt. It's like this. We know you got it. We're going to remove the asbestos. I remember seeing that in the 90s.
But my wonder with that is, did they get it all out?
I don't think they did.
Right.
I personally don't think
they dealt
that
with
they
certain areas they knew that they can get. Yeah.
I think that totally happened. But we know that NYCHA, the construction of NYCHA, and any building in New York City, the basis of it was asbestos was in the program.
They're being used today too.
So it's there. And it causes cancer. That's why it's a big deal.
Yeah, what was the health?
It causes cancer.
Okay, let's get it out
Asbestos causes cancer.
Wow.
So of course it's a danger. And I guess because once it becomes exposed, that's when you're able to breathe in the asbestos
particles.
And all these repairs and all these apartments being as they are, how many apartments? A great percentage of them are living in exposed apartments. Which means
people are living with cracked tiles.
You have cancer. It's just
people are living with cracked tiles. A lady in my building lift up all her floors and has ceramic. Wood floors down. Another lady has ceramic. And this lady says she did it herself. I won't disclose who she is. And I said, asbestos is there. And she was like, oh, I didn't. She said this was a couple of years ago she did it. Looks beautiful, but did it herself, laid it down, beautiful wood floors.
And covered up the asbestos. And
was
exposed to the asbestos.
To it while the work was done. She said the tiles just popped up like pancakes.
Yep.
They just popped up because I guess she had a couple of floods and a big apartment. But I just want to. We could finish up, but I want to read the symptoms of lead poisoning for adults. Okay, so y'all should listen up. High blood pressure, joint and muscle pain, difficulties with memory or concentration, headaches, abdominal pain, mood swings, reduced sperm count, and abnormal sperm, miscarriage,
All the
stillbirth.
guys are like, what?
No, y'all don't make me laugh. Wait. Sorry. Y'all shouldn't have did that.
I'm just saying.
This reminded me when we had that guy on.
Oh, she know too.
And we had that good laugh. I'm sorry.
We immediately got concerned when you said that shit.
Okay. I got one more to read. Wait. Okay. Come on. Stop.
All right.
Okay. Y'all crazy today. Okay. Miscarriages, stillbirth, or premature birth in pregnant women.
Wow.
Think about that. Adults.
Wow. It's very sobering, man. It's sad how they do us, man. It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Living a nightmare.
All day.
Yeah.
Keish, so once they relocate you, are you coming back to the same apartment? Is that
Yes.
supposed to be the arrangement?
So I was supposed to sign a waiver. Like if I was going to go to an apartment, that was the first thing. That was absolutely the first thing that my manager made me sign, because I was supposed to move over to Isaac's. And that was another thing. I was like, oh, well, those apartments are smaller than mine. How is all my stuff going to fit? And she really didn't appreciate all my questions. So she was like, well, if you move over to an apartment, you have to sign a waiver to say that you're going to move back to your original apartment. Because God forbid, like you move over to an apartment and you like that development or you like that apartment better. So I don't know what's the story if I move to a hotel, but NYCHA's not going to pay for a hotel continuously.
They
But
ain't
my
got no
biggest-
choice.
Yeah, my concern is that, if I move out into a hotel and it takes longer than these 5 days,
Right.
because they're packing up all my stuff. And I'm packing. I'm not going to pack, I'm not taking my whole wardrobe with me. I'm not packing, a lifelong, amount of clothes.
Right.
So
right.
I'm packing enough clothes for maybe, 7 to 8 days.
Right.
I'm not packing enough clothes for, winter and then going into, spring.
Packing like
So
you're going on
that's-
vacation. Like
Yeah.
you're going away. Yeah.
That's my concern, because you when you open your mouth, lies fall out. You cannot even apologize when you make a simple mistake. So I just don't believe anything that is being said. So I'm not only packing for myself, I'm packing for two
Kids.
boys.
Yeah.
So that's my concern. And then I made it for this time in which that they're out of school, so that they're least affected, and it doesn't really matter. It's like a little vacation. But then when school is going to start, so now I'm living out of a hotel and they're going to school. This doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for that. It's not, I don't think this is going to be the best for their schooling.
Right.
So those are my concerns. People may be like, whatever, I'm living in a hotel. Nah, that's not my life. I like stability for my children.
Absolutely.
And I want them to have the same thing and the same all the time in their home.
Right.
So those are my concerns. That's what my kids are my first concern.
Of course.
And I want stability for them.
I have a question. If you would have, if the apartment that they quote unquote had available in Isaac's, which I told you we should foil that and find out if that apartment did not come, did they rent it out or what? But if you had moved into Isaac's, were they actually trying to say that you move, or because to move everything into one apartment, then repack it back up and come back out is crazy. So how was that? Was they going to still just put your stuff in storage and let you, but then you need the beds and stuff? But that's hard.
That's madness.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Like, were they going to just move you in, I guess, bring all the boxes and furniture and everything into the Isaac's, that apartment, and then you got to repack up again? I mean, I know you would have been living out of boxes to a degree, but.
Well, I saw them moving somebody's stuff, and it looked like they just dumped all their stuff into those big painting bins that they have when the painters come, and they put them in like big bins. So I'm assuming they would just move all my stuff. Like, if you're going to move me, you have to move me.
Right.
And you got to move all my stuff. But I had a big concern because the apartments over there are much smaller. And I have I have stuff that was literally built into my apartment. So I was concerned. I was like, I don't think all my stuff is going to fit into those small apartments. And I could tell my questions were so annoying to her. And I don't give a damn. That's your job.
Sure.
You need to answer my questions or figure it out. And she didn't have the answers and she didn't want to figure it out. And every time I speak to her, she's annoyed because she just wants people to do what she says and jump when she says it. And guess what? Half of that ain't me.
I wonder, was they gonna give you an F apartment that's 4 bedrooms? Because I don't know which one has 3 bedrooms in Isaacs. I know the F is 4.
I don't think you will get more than what you have. It's either when I spoke to her last, she was like, oh, well, I couldn't give you a 2-bedroom because you have a 3-bedroom. I said, first of all, you didn't offer me a 2-bedroom, but technically you are no. I said, but you are only giving me a 1-bedroom. No, she said, I can't give you a 1-bedroom. I said, because you have a 3-bedroom. I said, but technically, you didn't offer that to me. I said, but technically you are just giving me a 1-bedroom because you're putting me in a hotel and I can't put my kids in they don't allow children under 18 to have their own bedroom. So I was like, well, technically you are just doing it because we're all just in 1 bedroom. So I have no privacy right now. It's just me and my kids in a 1-bedroom with double beds. Oh. Did we lose each other? What happened?
Then we had to mute the mics for a second. We made a little change here in the studio.
Little move.
Oh,
well, that's madness, man. How people's lives are uprooted. It's just incredible. I couldn't imagine. It's terrible that you and your family got to go through that. That's insane.
Yeah, I'm just waiting right now. We're just doing the last minute packing, I'm counting out the outfits, making sure we have enough, making sure I put everything away. And I still don't know how it's going to be when they get here. And I have to make sure, I have everything packed away. My closets are empty. I'm still doing last minute packing. And it's just, I've never, I did move once. I moved from the Bronx, but it's stressful. It's beyond stressful. My children, not this week. I haven't been I couldn't shop. You know what it is not to shop? I wanted to go to the meat market. I wanted to get some meat. I wanted to cook real food, but I couldn't because I couldn't fill my freezer like I wanted to because I knew I had to move. So I couldn't buy food. I couldn't, so because I'm trying to empty out my freezer. You're living on chicken nuggets and fish sticks because you want to empty out whatever's in there.
This made me hungry though. I haven't had fish sticks in a long time. Oh my gosh, she just made me I want some fish sticks.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
man.
but that's for the kids. I'm like, what am I gonna eat? Because that's not for me.
Yeah.
And when my kids eat different things, it makes it even harder, so it's just it's beyond frustrating because I want to get some chicken. I want to get some chicken thighs. I want to get some chicken breasts. These are the things I want to cook. I want to cook real food, but I can't buy it because I can't fill my freezer like I want to, like I need to, like I should cook for my family. Because I'm in this mode of I have to empty my freezer.
Yeah.
Because I'm in this situation in which that I have asbestos and I have to vacate my apartment for an unspecified time. Well, for a specified time that I'm not sure is real.
5 days, right? Supposedly. Yeah.
Well, I think it's more like 7. It's 5 business days.
Right. Okay.
So not counting the weekend.
Okay.
So.
And I do hope they keep to that timeline, but I'm like you. I'm concerned. In terms of will they be able to follow their word? Because most times they just don't. So in your case, I really hope they do, because nobody wants to be in a situation for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and the money spending outside, eating food out, and doing this and doing that. That's madness.
Sorry about that. I got to go through that. Sorry, my hair's in the camera, guys.
That's all right.
That's all right.
That's all right.
But any closing remarks before we wind down, Lakeisha? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to say to the property manager?
The things that I always say is that we understand that, please understand that NYCHA is filled with working, non-working people who deserve to be treated right. And we need to unite together and fight for everything that we deserve. Running water, heat, living conditions that are
Habitable.
Just we need equity in what we have, because we deserve it, because we're human, and we want everyone to stand up for us, and that's it, and we want everyone to stand up as you would stand up for anyone in the street, regardless of how they look, regardless of what they do, just because they're a human being. And that's what I want, and that's what I hope for, and that's what I teach my children. You don't look at a person for how they look. You don't help a person for how they look. You help a person because they are human. And that's what I want people to do for NYCHA. And we deserve it. You understand? We've done too much. Many of us, our forefathers, our foremothers have done way too much, and we deserve it. And that's that,
Yeah. That's all right. Any closing remarks, guys?
I don't think I got anything to say after that.
Keesha is one of the most powerful speakers out here, and what can you do to follow that? But it's just unconscionable. We all got to come together and make these situations better, because we're dying in these apartments. People are dying with cancer, mold, this, that, and it's just unbelievable. How they know this is there, and they really just don't care. It's just too much.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad, from the fact that people are diagnosed with cancer or anything like that, any type of condition, and they don't really know where it comes from.
Right.
So we need like a Healthy Homes campaign. We were working on something many years ago, a Healthy Homes campaign, and we need like some studies done. And it needs to be, I said it on the show before, it needs to be like a pilot program. They could maybe take one development, maybe one hospital would work with us, do studies, whatever, us, or it could be our development, it could be another development, but really to identify what's going on with our lives. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people that are diagnosed, yes, with cancer, that live in public housing, that never smoked, and it could come from, an array of different things, right? Food, and you name it. But when you think about the most time you spend, especially someone that's like retired, even work. I mean, if you work, you come home, you home. The most time you spend really is in your house, unless you got two jobs. You might spend at least 8 hours, maybe 6 asleep, and then you got to get up and go to work and come back. But, you spend most of your time in your home.
Yeah.
So are our homes really making us sick? And that's something to think about. So, and we have to advocate, and work on that to get that done. And we'll talk more about that down the road to get something started. And probably Roger Flores.
I was about to mention that. Yeah, I was going to say that.
Would be the best person to help spearhead that.
Yeah.
And I was talking to another lady she's a public member on Community Board 8. She's willing to help out with that too. And her son does studies and stuff like that. So, and they're really good people. And that's what we need. And I'm sure like Sika and all it's very important, because we need to know. Not sure yet if we're going to have, I won't say the person's name, but there is a guest lined up for next week, but I just got to confirm, because it seems like a little confusion in the email. So, but we will be back next week. Once again, thank you, Lakeisha, for coming on. Appreciate you. And one night to one people.
One night to one people.
We lifted off.
One night to one people.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Right.
Thank you.
We're ready.
Hi, Tia.